This is page 4 in your note packet, and it's just continuing with these transformations of parabolas. So it says, without graphing, describe how the graphs of the two functions below are different. So we'll just look at them one at a time. So the first one, for my A, I have a 2, and that means it's going to get skinny. My second equation, I also have A of 2, which means it's going to get skinny. And the number's the exact same, so that's going to be the exact same. For my H on the first one, I have this 1, and remember it says do the opposite, so you would think that this would be moving left, but it's really going to be moving to the right. On the second equation, I have a +1. Again, it says +1, but it's really moving to the left. So that's our first difference, is that this equation here is going to move to the right, or shift to the right. And equation number 2 is going to shift left. Then lastly, if I look at my K values, I have a +2 and a +2, so they're both going to move up 2. So the only way that they're different is that graph number 1 is going to be shifted right, graph number 2 is going to be shifted left. For the second example, it says match the graph to the equation. So if we look at our equation and we kind of write ourselves some notes, I have this 2 for my A, and that means it's going to get skinnier. If I go on to my H value, I have x plus 4, which would move left, so it's going to shift left 4. And then for my K value, I have -4, which means shift down 4. And lastly, if I just look at the A value one more time, is it positive or negative? It's positive, which means it's going to open up. So then basically I'm just looking at these graphs and figuring out which one got skinnier, shifted left, down, and opens up. So if you look at this first one, it shifted left but then went up, and so it can't be this one. If I look at B, it shifted right and up, so that's not going to work. If I look at C, it shifted left, shifted down, it opens up, and it looks a little skinnier than normal. So this looks like a good option, but I'm just going to check D just to make sure. D shifted right, can't be D. For example 2, we're going to do the same thing. So match the equation to the graph. So actually, I'm going to look at the graph this time. Remember, typically we start at 0, 0 for the parent function of y equals x squared. So if I look, this thing definitely shifted left. It also shifted down. And it's opening up. It might be kind of hard to tell if it got skinnier or wider. It looks like it might be a little wider than normal, but I'm not really sure. So for now, I'm just going to leave that part out. So if I go over to my equations and I kind of start going through them, I'm looking for something that shifts left. So shifting left would mean it has to be a +4 in here. So A and B are currently my 2 options. The second thing I can look at is shifts down, which means I need a -3 out there. And so that would be choice B. Go ahead and try the third one. So take a few seconds, write yourself some notes about the graph, and then try to match the equation. When you write yourself some notes, hopefully you recognize that this shifted up and to the right, and it's opening down. Again, sometimes it's hard to tell skinny and wide, so I'm just going to leave that for now. So I'm going to start with this opens down. If it opens down, I know my A value has to be negative, and so right now my options are A or B. If it shifts up, I know that K needs to be positive, so that's out here. So that would be the +3. And then I'm just going to keep reading to make sure everything else looks good. If it shifts right, it should be x minus something, which works out for equation A. And then lastly, we weren't sure if it got skinny or wide, but if you look at this equation that we decided was correct, which is A, it's got a 2 here, which means it got skinnier. And so the best option for this example is A. So for the activity today, you're going to do a matching activity. So you will have a piece of paper, and then the problems will be posted on Google Classroom. And so you're going to match a graph to an equation and a description, kind of like the examples we were just doing. And so that will be worth points. You'll want to turn it in. And so get on Google Classroom, record all your answers on your sheet, and then turn it in when you're finished.